Craft's visibility outside of material culture, for me, it is the fabric of our social cultural engagement with objects. It allows us to have a dialogue with the world around us. It's situated in such a way that it engages us to think about who we are, where we've come from, and where we're going to. Craft is about a level of technical and material expertise. And when you come across good quality craft, you are left with a sense of awe. It touches the soul. It engages us at a very fundamental level, which I think it then becomes an enabler of opportunities for change, opportunities to grow, and allowing the viewer to understand things from a different context, and also for the makers, for them to have an engagement with the world around them. I think there's been examples over the years of, particularly from Tasmania actually, where a gallery, or even Gary Cleveland, who was the founder of Design Tasmania, would take craftspeople's work to international fairs and was very successful at that. But he would champion it. So it does need some leadership of how people can be sort of brought together, and the synergies of those individual practices to read within a cohesive platform on an international scale. Ethics and sustainable practice, and it all comes down to education. And if we think about creating a heritage of understanding of crafts, it really needs to start from primary school and secondary school, and then into our tertiary system, and be part of the way in which that engages individuals to understand the role of, I suppose, different materials, and the role of where this crafts practice came from, its heritage, and what it could become. You need to give people, young people, the opportunity to experience the craft or to experience the material. The internet alone is not enough. So you need to establish workshops where they can come together and have that experience. And those workshops can include practitioners, it can include playing with material. So I think we all have a responsibility in terms of ethical practice and spearheading an understanding, an educational understanding for young people all the way through to university, tertiary level. Speculative design is about our future. And it's a critical point that we're at because of climate change, because of sustainability, because of the world that we've created in terms of a consumer-based market. That has to change, and it's design's role to help facilitate that change. So to be a speculative designer is to really think about what is the possibility for good, what is the possibility for enacting change and doing things differently by responding and being a little bit more, taking the edge, taking a perspective to over the edge and beyond, and collaborating and engaging a whole range of diverse set of activities. So the role of the designer or recent graduates, it's not just an academic kind of proposition. It started as an academic proposition, but I have seen my recent graduates go out there and engage themselves set their own practices up and are working with industry, they're working with other designers, they're fluid, they're flexible. I think it's a very positive opportunity for Australia for the level of innovation and engagement of what design can be. I think we need to stop annihilating the word craft from our language and understand its value and its place within our society. If you asked an Indigenous person the role of basket weaving within their culture, it would be embedded within their social cultural framework. It's embedded into the rituals of daily living. It's part of who they are. And I think that the resurgence of making and people wanting to engage with their hands is to truly have an understanding of who they are, where do they fit into this world. Because when you make something, you're empowered. So craft and craftsmanship is a very empowering activity. I appreciate that technology and other realms of technological advancement are coming up, but imagine if you could put a master craftsperson and that technology together, what could be created, as opposed to removing the craftsperson and just having that technology. You will never get the same level of understanding from the technology. So what is required is that it needs to find a place. If it's not within our tertiary institutions and our education, we need to find a new home for craft practice. And you'll see that there's a resurgence like And Company setting up maker studios. In the United States, there's a whole lot of maker places available for people to come and engage. Craft, and it's a $1 billion industry, okay? So it comes down to perception and value. And we need to, I suppose, understand that this is something of value in terms of international tourists coming down to Tasmania and the value of the timbers and the materials that they see. They purchase it not just because of the object, they purchase it because of the material. And it's the investment in the material of something distinct to the locality that really tells the story, that they can go home and have that discussion with their people or their family and friends as to why this is such a unique object. So policy, I think awareness, certain campaigns could be enacted to bring about a greater understanding. But in this economy-driven world, I mean, nothing speaks louder than the dollar. And if we are combining our craft practice in with the tourism market, you're talking billions of dollars. It's a very powerful facilitator of engagement and transaction at a social, cultural and a physical level. I would like craft to be able to sit equal to design, equal to art. It has a different narrative, it has a different language. It's not about replacing one for the other. It's not about that. My background is as a designer. I did my master's in furniture design in Tasmania. I've worked in industry. I've also spent 17 years as an academic. I know that it's about respect and engagement for the difference, not to make us all the same. If we're talking about design as an ecology, as a metaphor, you want diversity to make things interesting, to innovate. You need the diversity of all these different sectors being able to have their space and place. So let's not suggest that one is lower than the other. Let's make us all equal, but allowing for the different voices to come through.